good morning, and your souls are welcome here. We appreciate your presence, and good to see you this morning, Reverend Deborah.
Good to see you this morning, Reverend James, as well. And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this ministry, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature, because there is no space that God does not grace.
I like that.
Thank you.
I'm going to use that.
God gave that to me. If this is your very first time with us here in the sanctuary or watching online, we especially welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by divine appointment. And we're so excited. I see some people who are back in the sanctuary for the first time. And let's just all cry together. And while we're dabbing our eyes, how about silencing your electronic devices?
And as we go into that silent place, let us commune with the presence and the power and the love of pure spirit in prayer for a moment. And acknowledge that we indeed are expressions of the Spirit of the living God. And we have the choice to bring forth all of those qualities of peace and love and joy and wisdom and health and wholeness and make them the activity of our awareness, should we so choose to. And as we do, we begin to move ourselves not only higher, but from where we are to where we can be when we are seen as our highest and best selves. And our commission and charge is to always grow, develop, and unfold so that we can say that when you see me, you see the presence that sent me. For this presence and I and all of us are one. We're grateful to be the vessels and the vehicles of this presence so that we make it the activity of every thought we have, every word we speak, every action that we take. And we begin to anchor a little bit more expanding good in our life and in our world. It is up to us. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. You know, our mission at Spiritual Life Center is as follows, and as it comes up, let us just affirm it together. We transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we carry out these 5 basic principles that really underlie everything that we present, because it weaves themselves through everything that we teach here at Spiritual Life Center. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action. And if anyone has a birthday, the month of July, I invite you to please stand. Any July birthdays here? I see you going back.
Birthday to that Paula. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
I suppose today is sort of a birthday for our nation as well, and I want to thank Shirley Brown for the beautiful 4th of July flowers.
Yes. Thank you, Shirley, wherever she is.
She'll be here at 11, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, we'll see her at 11.
Yeah. So Teresa Campos's Desert Meditation Workshop begins this week, and here she is with a personal invitation.
And I will be facilitating an upcoming workshop on July 7th and 14th called Desert Medicine. The sounds of the world that we are unable to hear our own voices. They are the sounds that go against your true nature and Your path is to push through this, to push through the sounds of the world, and for you to hear once again your original sound. Desert Medicine Workshop is a journey into the indigenous perspective and the transformational tools that will reunite you with your original sound and your power. This work is something that calls to my heart and my spirit and my soul, and I look forward to sharing this with you on July 7th and July 14th. So join me for Desert Medicine Workshop. Thank you.
All righty, Teresa. I think
And that is a Zoom event.
Yes, it is. A Zoomed event. And, usually the first Sunday of every month is when our monthly community giving partner receives, a recognition. And this month's giving partner is, what is it? Safe Black Space. So we have one of the representatives. They're going to share a few words about one of the organizations that we support that is part of our community.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to say thank you, just starting first and foremost with that. My name is Dr. Christy Hagans. I am a founding member and president of Safe Black Space, and we are so pleased and honored to be a recipient of this funding support for our organization. It will help us to continue to do and offer the community healing circles that we have been providing to the Black community here locally in Sacramento for the past couple of years. It'll help support our volunteers. It'll help support our efforts to enhance our website and our outreach. And so we are grateful. You may be wondering a little bit about what Safe Black Space is, and so let me take a moment to explain that to you. We are an organization that is designed by and for people of African ancestry, folks who identify as Black. We emerged out of the unfortunate killing of Stephon Clark over 3 years ago here in Sacramento, and myself as an African-centered psychologist and a number of other faith leaders, community members, educators got together and created a healing circle, an opportunity for, again, people who identify as Black, who may have at that point and now continue to experience racism, discrimination, the anti-Blackness that is so present in our lives. And so we offer the circles every month, every second Saturday, usually online at this point with the pandemic from 3 to 4:30 p.m., again, for people who identify as Black. And so those members of SLC who may identify as Black are more than welcome, invited, encouraged to be part of our family and our community. And if you don't identify, we still encourage you to know that there is a need, particularly right now, for people who are living in the world with Black skin to have a space to come together that is culturally congruent and fitting, where they can talk about the challenges and then celebrate successes and identify how to continue to move and thrive in this world. So the work that we do is not only helping to shift attitudes and change lives, I believe, locally in Sacramento, but way beyond that. And so the contributions that you have made and are making to us will only help to increase our love and our connections broadly in this world. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Ashe.
So you may have noticed that there's no pieces of paper that we're throwing at you anymore. And we're going to continue to not throw pieces of paper at you. What we have done is we've created a new table out in the courtyard. It's called the Happenings Table, and everything that's going on at SLC will be out there. You can get information about it, and then when you want to sign up for something, you can go over to the hub and sign up. So it's all out in the courtyard, so check it out.
That helps simplify things for us, so thank you for participating in this. And we want to acknowledge any board members that are here this morning. Any board members here in the audience? Yes. And any chaplains that are here. The board, really, one of the other things to help guide and shape the direction and oversight of our community. And the prayer chaplains do the very important work of holding the prayer consciousness for our community. And the one chair chaplain we have is wearing the white stole, and she'd be more than happy to pray with you right after the service. Should you need some prayer, or you just want to celebrate something in your life, she'd be willing to pray with you on that to help leverage up that energy. So thank you so much for your presence this morning.
And if you're here for the very first time, in a moment we will ask you to raise your hand. But first of all, we want you to know there's so many ways to be connected here at SLC. And so you can go out to the welcome table, or before you go to the welcome table, you can fill out a card that we will give you, and then take it out there, and they will give you a gift. And if you are watching us online, you can go to our website and fill out the online card there. And you can choose to be notified of the small groups and all the different things that are happening at SLC. So take it away, James.
Yes, I know we have at least one first-timer here, but any other first-timers? Just raise your hand. Oh, we got several. All right, well, keep your hand up for a moment. Yes, thank you so much for your presence. And, you know, if we'll identify, do we have the folks giving out the purple ribbons this morning? If you kind of identify, keep holding your hand up, just kind of, even if just like this, we'll be able to know who you are. And we'll give you that purple ribbon. We're going to ask you just to wear it on the left side near your heart so we can greet you and offer you a very heartfelt welcome to Spiritual Life Center. And I see our folks coming forward with the purple hearts right now. We thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your consciousness and your loving energy as we do our part to make a difference in our communities and in our world. So at this point, we just want to have everyone stand if you like, greet your neighbors in a way that you feel comfortable, and thank you for your presence.
Stay standing. And please join us in singing our group song. I think this is the 2017 Faith in Action. Am I right?
16 or
16.
17.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
16, 17. So many of you know this song, written by our very own Paula Mandella. Yes. So please join us if you know it, and if not, do your best to follow along or just listen.
4, 5, 6.
Bringing joy and peace. Thank you. You may be seated. And thank you, Paula, for such an awesome song.
My pleasure. So at this point, I'd like to invite us all to speak together our vision statement.
Spiritual Life Center
is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now in preparation for meditation, what we're focusing on today is the only way that freedom can really happen, and that is in our mind. Let freedom ring.
Please join us in singing.
Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring. I am free to be a voice. I am free to make a choice. I am free here to be just who I am. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom ring. I am free. I am free to be a boy. I am free. I am free to make a choice. I am free. I am free here to be just who I am. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring in my soul. Let freedom
As we move into this time of quiet and contemplation, take a deep breath and slowly exhale. And take another deep breath and just let it all go. In the next cycle of breaths, allow your body to relax. Drop your shoulders. Relax your eyelids. Breathe naturally now, allowing your consciousness to float up and away into a light daydream. You are on a high cliff overlooking the ocean. You can hear the waves crashing on the rocks below. The blue ocean, touched by the sun, spreads out before you. billowy white clouds dot the pure blue sky, and a salty breeze ruffles your hair, caressing your face. Lazy seabirds play on the wind, coast in the sunlight. They seem to be so free. And you begin to imagine what it would be like to fly, to be so free from earthly restraints. And so you open your eyes and throw back your head, pretending with all your heart that you have wings. And then you have them. You have wings. As you carefully move them up and around, you begin to lift up off the ground. Gently, slowly, you rise into the air. And with just a little bit of experimentation, you figure out how to use those wings. You fly out over the ocean, skimming along the water. Then gathering up speed, you go up into the sky again, going higher and higher. And now you level off and allow the wind to take you. Here, soaring high above the earth, dancing with the sun and sky, you are light, you are free, you are clear. From this altitude, you have a different perspective. You realize that in a real sense, you do have wings, and that you can rise above earthly restrictions whenever you want. With this knowing, you feel even freer. You bask in joy and gratitude and confidence as you coast into the silence. Taking a breath, you begin to flap your wings and joyfully make your way back to the cliff where you began. The sun is setting, sending rays of red, gold, and pink across the sky. And you just gently settle down onto the cliff and fold your wings against your body. As you take a breath now, absorb the wings into your body, knowing that they are within you and you can use them whenever you desire. And now you hear this inner blessing. Oh, my beloved, you are free to be yourself. To be yourself is exactly why you came to earth. When you are courageous and allow your true self to emerge, it is then that you are free, completely free. Remember this, always.
Everything is moving so fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect. Your only pride. Get yourself in gear. Keep your stride. Never mind your fears. 'Cause brighter days will soon be here. Take it from me someday. We'll all be free. Oh, keep on walking tight. Hold your head up high. Lay your dreams, and lay your dreams right up to to the sky. Sing your greatest song. Oh, 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 oh. And you keep going, going on. Take it from me someday. We'll all be free. Hey, yeah. Yes, you and me. Someday we're all gonna be free. You gotta keep walking and taking from me someday. I said someday we're all gonna be free. I said free. Yeah, yeah. Someday, we'll all be free. Someday, we'll all be free. I said, you and me, gonna be, you and me, we're gonna be free. Someday, we'll all be free. You and me, gonna be, you and me, we're gonna be free. Someday,
Thank you.
Thank you, Slice Girls. Thank you, Like Connect. Yeah, Slice Boys. She said, hang in there. Hang on to the world as it spins around. Just don't let the spin get you down. Take it from me. Someday we all shall be free. Well, welcome out to our 4th of July service. I don't think of all the years I've done ministry that 4th of July actually fell on Sunday. I can't remember. Anyways, so it just justifies, the red, white, and blue that everyone is wearing today. Well, actually, red, white, and denim, was the formal attire for today. to celebrate Independence Day. You know, recently I ran across an interesting interview. And the interview was of a woman by the name of Yeonmi Park. And she tells the tale of escaping tyranny of North Korea. And she's somewhat of a controversial figure, but I won't get into the controversial things that she's said. But she said something that really caught my attention. She said that in their language, there's no equivalent word for revolution. There's no context or concept that has a backdrop as to how someone can get out of tyranny into, quote, freedom. They don't have any internet. There's no independent news that they get that would present some perspectives on objective ways of seeing the world. And she said that many of the folks are trapped into a paradigm of what the leaders tell the society to be true. Nevertheless, this woman and her family were able to escape that country. They went to China and then they came to the United States. So it kind of lets me know that despite living in a society in which there was no concept or understanding of what freedom is, there was probably some divine discontent, something within them that said, yearned for them to be free. And it may even be something inherent. It's always there within us. You know, my son, you know, always keep me up to date on the latest social media things. So, you know, he's been turning me on to TikTok lately, you know. So I've been kind of, you know, I usually turn on to it when I want something when I need something funny to kind of break me out of a mood. The people across the planet, they are some funny people at times. They come up with some very creative things. And they were having a series of things I ran across about babies escaping, you know, their cribs and, you know, or the different barriers that their parents put up. I don't know if you remember that. They put a barrier like a gate, you know, at the top or the bottom of the stairs so the child won't, you know, go upstairs or fall down the stairs. Or, you know, there's another time they showed a little kid, you know, they had a safety belt on in the car and you know, and they would all escape. You know, they would play the music about, what was that song from the Mission Impossible? Yeah, they had the song playing in the background and they'd be getting out and getting away and stuff like that. And they had one kid that they didn't know how he was escaping. He was a little baby in the crib. But what would happen, they would have a camera on there, and so the little kid, they would take all of his blankets, and it would drop them all on the floor and make it like a pad that it would fall over. And it would just lean over and just fall onto the pad, and it would start walking around in the middle of the night. Didn't know where it was going, but just know it needed to get out of the crib, you know. And all of that was caught on camera. But something that's probably even more potent and probably more crucial than physical freedom is the freedom that is within us. You know, there's a French writer who is also a poet. I think his name is Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I can't really pronounce the name, but that's the closest I can come to. But he said something to the effect that I know but one freedom, and that is the freedom of the mind. And it kind of reminded me of a young man many years ago. He was in Washington, D.C. He was jailed for 15 years for something unjustly. He just kind of got caught up. He didn't have really great representation. And he just knew that, you know, at one day somebody was going to just open up the cell and say, it's a big mistake, if you can go home. And for 3 years, this didn't happen. And during this period of time, he was angry, he was upset, he was resentful, he was acting up all the time and causing all kinds of problems with his behavior. And at the end of the 3rd year, he decided to do something. He decided to look in the mirror and to begin to eradicate anything within his soul, his own being, that created the conditions for this to even happen to him. He decided to eliminate anything in his awareness, in his consciousness, that would bring this kind of manifestation into his life. So although he spent all of that time in prison, for 12 years, he worked on himself. So he would no longer allow past experiences come into the present moment. He checked himself on a regular basis. So even though he was incarcerated, his body was imprisoned, he said he was free. He became aware of the great power that was within him. He developed talents that he didn't even know he had. He started focusing on writing poetry while he was there. And one of the things that he said, that words can feel like freedom. So for those 12 years, though his body was incarcerated, he said he was a free person. And when he walked out, he had a Buddhist smile on his face. He was wondering why everyone outside of the jail were acting like they were in prison. Because they were concerned about the nicks on their cars and people rushing ahead of them on the traffic and people stepping on the flowers on the way to meditation. And they were wondering why all the people outside of the prison seemed like they were in jail. Many of us live outside the walls of a jail, but are still in bondage. Because most people are reacting or reactors dreaming that they're free. See, they're living from their past. They're living from their past experience. They're living from their past hurt. They're living from their past shames and denials. They're living from their history and bringing that into the present moment, reacting to the things of the world, thinking that they're free. But they're merely reacting to circumstances and something from their past and not letting that go. You know, we're talking about the mastering your freedom. And mastering your freedom, of course, is something else than what reaction is. And mastering our freedom really comes from a realization that this presence, this power, this love that we call God is at our center. It can never be hurt, harmed, or endangered in any way. And allowing that to be the activity of our awareness. So regardless of what is happening in the external world, there's an immediate and prolonged response that is uplifting, that is dynamic, that enhances life, that beautifies life, that heals us. And of course, it takes an inner strength to be free on that level and not to react to what is going on around us and not to go for what is popular or to allow advertisers to convince us to buy things we do not need. I was away last week because I was in Florida with meeting my sister and my brother, and we went to my stepmom's house. And she's, now in a assisted living facility. So we had to go there to kind of, go through the house. And she had 50 years of stuff. And she had a small house. And I said, well, this is not going to take, maybe a day will be done. Man, it took us like 3 days to begin to sort everything out and take a dumpster out. But the interesting thing, she had a lot of stuff that was unopened, still had the tags on them. And indicating that she was buying stuff she didn't need. And so I used to tease her about that. And she had to admit that she was saying in these words, but unconsciously, she was living somebody else's reality. And she was taking away her free choice. And to freely choose, we have to be fully aware. Fully aware. Otherwise, we're reacting. We're having ourselves to be influenced by things outside of ourselves. Because without awareness, there really is no choice. And this is what mastering freedom is all about, having that awareness so we can choose freely. Now, to get there, we have to untether ourselves from the reality that other people may have given us and begin to step into that oasis where we're truly free in that presence we call God. And if we break that down, when we wake up in the morning and we move through the course of the day and realize that sometimes we're living somebody else's reality, that someone else has shaped that for us. Maybe when we were kids, we were told something and it's still running us. Someone may have told you what you could or could not do. Maybe it's based upon your gender. Maybe they told you what you could or could not do based upon your ethnicity or your sexual orientation, based upon where you were born. And there's certain ceilings that you were subjected to, and you'll not be able to go beyond. Maybe we're living a parental fantasy. Even if they're not around, maybe there's thoughts that we've gotten from someone else, and it's really directing our life. But mastering our freedom means that we break the bonds that are holding us to someone else's reality. and to set ourselves free so that the Spirit of the living God can be expressed through us. Can express through us. You know, Ernest Holmes was the starter of religious science. Said in one of his books that all of nature, all of God, is conspiring for the freedom of the individual in order that it may unloose its own energy in us. That all of nature, all of the universe is conspiring for our freedom, that it may unloose its own energy and can find a place to express itself through and as us. Of course, we have to cultivate that. Just like an athlete cultivates their skill and their talent, or a musician, as these great musicians here have cultivated their skill and talent as musicians. Even though it's freely given to us by the Spirit, we have to cultivate it. We have to work on it until it becomes them, becomes us. I recall, reading about some letters in the Smithsonian Institute. I think Smithsonian, the Library Institute. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, the letters were from an enslaved woman. And one of the letters that she wrote was how she was constantly beaten by, the female overseer of the house. And in this particular letter she wrote on that day, rather than recoil or react from the assaults that she was feeling and experiencing, she stood her ground. And she looked that person directly in their eyes, deep in their eyes, as if they were piercing, as if she were piercing directly to their soul. And then something happened. At that very moment, that person never beat her again. There was a transformation in the relationship. That enslaved woman had a transcendent experience and the presence of God within her. She touched eternity within her own being and responded from that level of freedom, and without malice, without any hate, simply looked in that other person's eyes and something happened. We're talking about developing that kind of structure within ourselves. The structure where we live from a place which is unhurtable, that cannot be touched by the worldly conditions, the worldly experiences. We can do this. So we look for strategies to help us get there. There's no how-tos, but we look for strategies that are inches away there a little at a time, in which we can master that kind of freedom. And we get a clue from a statement in Philippians, the 2nd chapter and the 5th verse, that we're here to have the same mind in us as was in Christ Jesus, who in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God. And that major strategy that we practiced was also going to that silence, going to that meditation, really observing the thoughts that come up in us on a regular basis. Based on an inner relationship with this power, we stop and we sense our oneness with this presence that is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and can never be moved. And we pull our attention away from the world. And that divine knowingness of the presence of God takes over our awareness. And then when we move into the world, this fitful world that spins around, we are different individuals. We become a transformative agent and no longer the reaction to what is happening around us. Because we no longer react or judge for our appearances, but as the master teacher said, we use right judgment. Because understand, we hang out. We generally hang out wherever our thoughts take us. That's why the Buddha said that all is thought, all is thought, all is thought. It is really running our life. And regardless of what is going on in the world, we go where our thoughts are most of the time. So mastering our freedom means we have to have dominion over our thinking. It came to me in one realization I learned many years ago that, oftentimes it's our thoughts that torment us. And it's not other people. And I bring that up because I remember I was on a job, and I don't know if you ever had a person like this, but a colleague, co-worker. Every time I was in the presence of that person, my reaction would be, oh my God. Oh my God, I got to go to work again to deal with this individual. And I was kind of early in my spiritual journey, and I had a spiritual mentor, and I was telling him about this experience. And he said to me, it's not the person that is disturbing you. It is your thoughts about the person that's disturbing you. I didn't want to accept that at first because I said, you don't know this person. If you were around this individual, you would know it would be that person that was disturbing me. But he said, you have a choice of where you will place your attention. You have a choice. You can place your attention on what's real, what's unhurtable. You can place your attention on the God presence within you and within that person. Because whatever that person did or did not do cannot touch that part of you. And he simply reiterated, it is your thoughts that torment you, not the other person. We have the freedom to choose where we place our attention. We think about that. We're walking through the world and thinking how disturbed we are by people, what they're doing and what they're not doing. And those thoughts are projected on those people, and we've lost control of our awareness. And we're placing it on things that are not real, that are not valid, and we're reaping those results in our own life. When we have control of our awareness, we keep the high watch. We maintain an unbroken unity with the love of God. And that is moving into that presence that cannot be moved. We're celebrating independence today and tomorrow. Of course, we should celebrate every day. And we know that this particular independence experience started with a revolution in this country. And unlike the woman from North Korea, people knew what that meant. And that revolution was a two-part phenomenon. The first part was separating from England or Great Britain. But there was a second part, was founding and birthing something new. I used to come up be obsessed with Egyptology and stuff like that when I was younger. And if you look at our dollar bill, and I noticed that most people don't carry cash around them as much anymore, but if you happen to have a dollar bill around you, on the dollar bill, there's this great seal. And it shows the pyramid of Giza, or Giza, I can't remember which I pronounce it. And the Great Pyramid of Giza doesn't have a capstone in it in life. It's missing. And the Egyptologists, nobody knows what happened to that capstone. But legend tells us there was a golden capstone, and it was painted in blue, represented the eyes of Horus, or the eyes of the Christ. And when the sun hit it, it was a golden capstone that would shine for miles around. And that was on originally the top of the pyramid, according to the legend. But they haven't been able to find that capstone. There's a lot of different theories that, somewhere under the ground, somewhere beneath the pyramid and the Sphinx. But there's something about this that Washington and Jefferson and Franklin, they knew about it because they put that capstone on the back of the dollar bill, not attached to the rest of the pyramid. And legend holds that Egyptian civilization was in major decline. And the Egyptian priests climbed to the top of the pyramid and removed the capstone because they knew the consciousness of the people had fallen below to where it should be or could be. And they said that according to the legend, that capstone would be retrieved when the consciousness once again embraced its meaning. And the meaning of that capstone was universal brotherhood, the eye of Horus. And that was put on the back of the dollar bill of the United States. It's on that bill. And on that statement, on the back of it, it talks about a new order of the ages, with the capstone of that pyramid just slightly removed from the pyramid itself. And the esoteric tales means that to put that capstone back on shall mean that universal brotherhood has been attained. I think that's the thing we need in our world and our country today. I think that's why individuals like Jefferson said we must go back to first recourse or first principle, go back to the divine ideas. and know the bright constellations from which we aspire. You know, we look around our world today, there's a lot of stuff going on. You look at our politics and we see certain politicians saying, you know, policies need to be implemented, policies need to be changed, policies need to be eliminated. You know, they might be in health areas and security areas, policies around police and all kinds of stuff. And we're not saying this is unimportant, but it's not the foundational issues that we need to start from. They're merely reactions to what's going on in the outside world. The real issues that we want to focus on are the core ideals which make for great ideas, which new policies and ways of being shall emerge. Our country was founded on those core ideals that reflect on who we can be when we're expressing the highest and best of who we really are. We must know that we must ask the question, did the founders actually manifest this? They did not. Many of the signers of the Declaration of Independence themselves were slave owners, which is a direct contradiction to the words that say we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. But the founders did not say, here is a perfect nation. They simply said, here is a blueprint for a perfect nation. You have to make it happen. The choice is ours. You know, we're part of a teaching philosophy. It's called the body of thought called mature teachings. And it's part of the population that recognizes and realizes it is we who must change and not the world. It is we who must change and not the government. It is we who must change. Because as we change, the politicians follow. That figures their idea. You know, as we weave ourselves into the fabric of the world, being in the world but not of it, our communities, our countries, our planet is transformed. We become willing to be that change, which is a choice, mind you, that we must take based upon the freedom that we truly have. When we make that part of our consciousness to grow from God's glory to greater glory, we become agents of transformation of the very planet and the very country in which we live. Because as we change, as we grow, as we expand, as we identify our true nature and being and activate that, we become the vanguards, we become the leaders of the very society in which we are living. The choice is always ours. We have that freedom of choice. You know, it states on our money, in God we trust. For it is in God where the true power is. This is where the truth is. And it is the truth that liberates us and makes us free. And as we make that choice to trust in God, we become masters of our freedom. And so it is, and so we let it be. Next week, I'll be back again, talking on, we're doing mastery this month, mastering our faith, mastering your faith. This is an opportunity now for those who are here and those who are online to support Spiritual Life Center. If you're online, you have an opportunity to give and support us by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can simply go to our website, slcworld.org, go to the donate tab, and you can give in other ways, including by mail. So if you are online, we invite you to spread the consciousness by liking us. If you're watching on one of the platforms, like, comment, share, subscribe. We live in a new world. We can touch a lot of people. So help spread the word. At this time, for those who are present and those who are online, let's say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Today we're sticking with the classics, some classics. And my definition of a classic is eternally current, I would say. And truly a master of this is Stevie Wonder. So listen to this one.
Like a river flowing freely through infinity. Free to be sure of what I am and who I need not be. Free from worries, worries play on oneself, troubled mind, freer than a clock's hand, ticking away the time, freer than the meaning of free as man defined. Life running through me till I feel my Father God has called, and me having nothing but possess riches more than all. Oh, I am free to be nowhere, but in every place I need to be. Freer than the sunbeam shining through my soul, freer from feeling heat or knowing bitter cold. Free from conceiving the beginning, for that's the infinite start. I'm gone, but still living. Life goes on without a beating heart. Oh, I'm free, like a vision that no mind only you can see. Freer than a raindrop falling from the sky, freer than a smile in a baby sleeping on. I'm free, like a river, flowing freely through infinity. Oh, I'm free to be sure of, yes, I'm free, what I am and who I may not be. And I'm much freer than the meaning of the word free that this crazy man defined. Yes, I'm free, like a river. Yes, I'm free. My life goes on and on through infinity.
Freedom. All right. Stevie never gets old. At all. He's definitely a classic. Well, we're walking down, I think, now with the prayer box and our tithes and offerings, and we bless those tithes. We bless those offerings. We bless those who have served us this morning to collect them, those who have given. Know that whatever has been given comes back to us in so many ways. And not only that, it supports this community to provide opportunities for people to transform and be uplifted in some way, shape, or form. For those who have left their prayers in the prayer box, we know that the Spirit of the living God knows the answer even before we utter the prayer. We simply need to raise our awareness to be one with the presence and the power and the love of God. So we bless those prayers, affirming that they are answered, and know that that blessing will continue on as we send them to Silent Unity, who will be prayed over for an additional 30 days from that organization and those who are part of that prayer team. Thank you, God. Amen. Let us join together now as we say and affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me.